You're not allowed to be on your video in there.
Why would you say that?
If they want you trespassed off this property,
When I haven't committed a crime.
you have not committed a crime. They have the right.
This is the PUD side, which is closed off for PUD employees. So, what are you doing here?
You do need to get off the property, okay?
Knox, you shouldn't even be like pulling security over a dumpster fire right now. I don't know what is going on, man. Fantastic human being, law violator. Not the North Korean Red Army? Okay, fair enough.
You wouldn't be in this country.
Whoa, missing the old days?
I guess practicality speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yikes, Knox. Jeez.
Okay, are you going to be taking your camera inside?
Yeah.
That's kind of where we'll get into the issue if they want to trespass at that point. I understand where you're going with all this.
Sure.
But if security deems it that you're causing a nuisance, anything like that.
How am I causing a nuisance?
Well, you're filming on their property.
And Knox, I'm telling you right now, your coworker right there, your subordinate, is 100% right in what he said. He acknowledged and made it clear on video and audio,
Yep.
This is public property and I can be here. Knox, I think you need a field sobriety test, man, because you are literally in the land of North Korea in the woohoo here. So Knox, any, at least in the last week, any good shootings or anything? Or
It may just have been the officer's ignorance, if you will, that
that's-
where he was where you were was public property, right? It's like
Absolutely.
it's like this building, right?
The atrocious
Because
one.
I wouldn't allow you to do whatever you wanted to do.
The security guy, from my experience in dealing with some security, the private security
Yeah, it
companies,
is private, yeah.
a lot of times they feel that their authority, if you will, is farther reaching than it actually is.
Is it frequent that you guys send armed security officers to accost members of the press?
You bring up a very, very good point. And, you know, I want to call out, working for a public utility, this is part of our obligation to make sure that we can be as open and accessible as possible.
And now the follow-up part 2 of villainous security officer Knox's unlawful trespass of a journalist at the Snohomish County Public Utilities District.
Hey everyone, I am free. It's September 17th, 2024. I'm in the city of Everett, here in Snohomish County in the Communist Empire of Washington State. I am heading back to the Snohomish County Public Utilities District. I was unlawfully trespassed from that facility for 7 days on September 6th, 2024. That expired on the 13th. I'm going back there to file a grievance to seek redress of my grievances with my elected officials, which are the directors, the commissioners of the PUD. I am also going to file a public records request, see if I can get this issue resolved. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Great.
Good. I am looking to find the public records officer, if I could. For the PUD.
Records officer. I've never heard of that, but I can probably find somebody to help you.
That'd be great. Yeah. What was your name again?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan. Hey, really appreciate your professionalism last time. Thanks. Who was the other guy, by the way? The guy with the Checkpoint Charlie outlook on life?
That's Officer Knox.
Knox.
Right there. Yep.
All right. How's it going? Oh, I see customer service over there anyways. Never mind. Well, tell Ryan I appreciate it. I just didn't see the customer service sign. Hello. Hey, looking to see who the public records officer is and how I can get in contact with them.
Public records, so those get sent to our customer service email.
No, I'm looking for the officer, the public records officer.
Public records officer.
Yeah.
Give me just a second, I can try and find out for you, okay?
You bet.
What's going on, Steve?
Knox, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Well, good. Are you you feeling a little bit better today?
Didn't feel any different from
I don't
last
know,
time we had
man.
the conversation.
Ryan was picture perfect professional.
Yeah, that's
on the other
your
hand,
opinion,
where I
but
think
okay.
you don't think he was picture perfect
I
professional.
mean, he was just fine.
Okay.
I didn't have any qualms with his behavior. Or
I mean,
his
it kind of seemed
actions.
like you were on the edge of wanting to, give me a bowl full of lead Wheaties.
Well, again, that's your opinion, but
Yeah, you're a little wound up the other day, man. Where's the restrooms
I
at?
wouldn't say I'm any wound up more than any time else.
Whoa, that's a lot of being wound up all the time.
Again,
then,
that
man.
is your
Yikes.
personal.
Where's the restroom at?
Straight down the hall on your right-hand side.
Okay. Hey, Ryan. Seriously. I still don't know what branch of service he was in, but clearly you got the right education on the Constitution. So thank you for actually caring about, the law of the land. So I appreciate that. Putting your ass on the line like that and actually standing up for our liberties is good. For my opinion, for the love of all that is good in this world, do not ever follow any advice or behavior of Knox. That man is going to end up shooting someone, guaranteed. It's probably because he had a very unfulfilling life and maybe his mom slapped him too much or something as a kid. I don't know, but that dude's going to end up shooting someone. So just do not please be like him, which I don't think you're going to be anyways.
Right. Yeah, they're taking a break for lunch, I'm assuming. Sorry, I'll be right with you.
No problem.
Gotcha. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, can I check my belt?
Will do. All right, bye. Sorry about that.
Do you know who, and I'll just use the colloquial term, who is the on-shift, on-duty administrator, manager, etc. for the PUD that's in this building?
John Harlow would be the CEO.
Be great to talk to him. Probably not available for me right at this moment.
Probably not. That's something I usually just got to get set up for.
Yeah, so
beforehand.
who is like the operations manager, for example? Someone that would be more readily available if I needed to address an
Honestly,
issue.
there ain't nobody usually ready available. It's all by appointment only.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that just to avoid accountability and transparency, or?
No, I'm assuming because it has something to do with their current work schedules for the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, not everything fits into a shoebox, man.
Well, I understand, but it is what it is. People
All right,
are
well,
busy, and they've
I'll
got
go
other things
try to
going.
address it there. So, just so I could try to figure this out before I go handle issues another civil way, what exactly led to you?
Hang on a second. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
What exactly led to you going down the path that you did on the 6th of September?
Going down what path?
The path of violating my civil liberties.
Your civil liberties weren't violated.
Absolutely were.
How do you figure?
Happy to explain it.
Okay.
So, Washington state trespass laws are really clear. In Section 90, there's several conditions that are defined as defenses against trespass.
As you can see here, there are multiple defenses against trespass in Washington state as found in RCW 9A.52.090. I left out number 4 as it is irrelevant in my case, and omit number 1 for the same reason. The remaining 2 read as follow. Number 2. The premises were at the time open to members of the public and the actor complied with all lawful conditions imposed on access to or remaining in the premises. Or number 3. the actor reasonably believed that the owner of the premises or other person empowered to license access thereto would have licensed him or her to enter or remain. Now here's the thing. As you will see later when I speak with the Chief Customer Officer, one of the executives for the Public Utilities District, that is not only proven by his statements and actions, but additionally, when I was present on the 6th of September, there were no lawful restrictions, and Knox does not have agency to establish those arbitrary and capricious conditions, which would have been and were unreasonable to begin with.
All right.
That parking lot was open to the public at that time. In fact, there was signage that indicated pedestrians travel through that area. There was no signage that said, for example, no unauthorized personnel,
I do agree
no
with that.
trespassing, etc. So what we don't get to do, at least in this country, as opposed to other tyrannical countries like North Korea, East Germany when it still existed,
I'm aware of
is just make up stuff and do whatever you want.
Hi there. How
Hi, are you the PRO?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I do have the information that you are requesting. And then if you'd like, we can get your contact information and have her reach out to you either way.
Oh, I'm just here. It'd be more convenient for me if I could just speak to the public records officer while I'm here.
I don't think she's in office.
She's off-site.
I don't think she's in office today. No.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems to be a common plague with government these days. Well, I'm looking to make a verbal public records request, but the other thing I'd like to know is the rest of her information, just in accordance with Section 580 of the Public Records Act.
Section 580 of the Public Records Act speaks to the legislated position of the Public Records Officer, of which each agency must have one at least. Subsections 1 and 3 are the relevant ones as it pertains to my points here. Section 1 reads as, each state and local agency shall appoint and publicly identify a public records officer whose responsibility is to serve as a point of contact for members of the public in requesting disclosure of public records and to oversee the agency's compliance with the public records disclosure requirements of this chapter. A state or local agency's public records officer may appoint an employee or official of another agency as its public records officer. Subsection 3. For local agencies, the name and contact information of the agency's public records officer to whom members of the public may direct requests for disclosure of public records and who will oversee the agency's compliance within the public records disclosure requirements of this chapter shall be made in a way reasonably calculated to provide notice to the public, including posting at the local agency's place of business, posting on its internet site, or including it in its publications. Worth pointing out is that local and state agencies are defined in Section 10 of Title 42, Chapter 56, of which a public utility district is a local agency, not a state agency. Additionally, while the PUD has in fact posted the information of the PRO online, as seen here, it is worthwhile noting that a moderate amount of my tips and leads regarding public records request access comes from older folk who prefer to go into offices and find information there, which, as we can see, was not done. Seems to not be reasonably calculated to, quote, provide notice to the public, end quote, as per subsection 3 of Section 580.
In Title 42, Chapter 56. Where's that conspicuously located?
What more information are you looking to get for her?
Well, one is I'm just looking for the conspicuous indication of where the PRO information is. So if a member of the public came in and was just looking for it, where do you guys have that? Is it like on a board, like a pin board, or some other?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Who can I speak to? Like,
give her a call, or
no, because it's a felony if I record that call, and nobody ever agrees to being called because they don't really want to get caught up in something. So I'm not looking to commit any felonies here.
Yeah.
Though Knox would disagree, I'm not actually trying to commit any felonies.
Okay. Let me go see if I can find a manager.
Great, thanks. So Knox, any at least in the last week, any good shootings or anything, or?
I don't know. Not by me.
No. Wow. Kind of a calm week for you. Kind of a calm week for you. Probably a little more stoked for some action this week, I'm guessing.
Why would you say that?
Just based on your behavior on the 6th, Knox. Is that Everett showing up, I'm guessing? Or county? Okay, Everett.
Usually it's Everett.
Okay. Not the North Korean Red Army? Okay, fair enough.
If you were, you wouldn't be in this country.
Whoa, missing the old days?
I guess practicality speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yikes, Knox. Jeez.
Well, there you go.
Woo! Why on earth did Allied Universal give you a sidearm with that attitude, man? That is horrible. It's pretty atrocious.
Because I wouldn't allow you to do whatever you wanted to do, that's not...
Oh, Knox, it's going to get figured out in the end. The fact that what's shocking to me is that you said the wrong words at the wrong time.
Okay.
You were acting with agency, and that's what you said on behalf of the Snohomish County PUD.
Well, since I represent PUD as
Allied
security
Universal
officer,
represents them?
please leave the property.
Okay. Yikes, man.
All right.
Unlike, as I was mentioning to the officer that was here, unlike law enforcement officers and other government employees, so actually even just any of the employees that are working here, like out in the shop and stuff, they have qualified immunity from, when they get sued. You don't. So I'm just, it just is mind-boggling to me that you did that. You must be a very wealthy man.
That's what I wanted to find out. Wealthy enough. I make a living just like everybody else.
And there's nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with your profession. It's just the behavior, man. You're setting the wrong example for those guys over there.
I'm glad I got your non-professional security opinion on that.
Well, when you're interacting with the public, sometimes you need a little outside of the box perspective, Knox.
I'm not disagreeing.
And I'm saying you need like a galactic amount of it.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, are they gonna have the SWAT team down here any moment? Or
Really?
Not just. I know you guys obviously thought this was like a maximum threat level last week and a half ago.
So who you to report for? Or you do it independently?
I'm independent.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for waiting. I can help you over here. Yeah, come on up.
It's kind of crazy too, Knox, because what brought me here in the first place was something completely innocuous, and then you had to go absolutely maniacal and do what you did. I was just here working on a story about public records requests.
Okay, well, I told you then you could have came in here and filed your request.
But you know what? Since you're making the comments about giving an opinion, non-professional opinion about security.
I'm glad I got your non-professional security opinion on that.
Guess what a lot of journalists do when they get to a location and they're trying to set the scene and tell the story?
Depends on what story
they get B-roll footage, Knox.
I understand that, but
apparently you don't, man. Apparently you thought like the North Korean army was parachuting in the way you were acting the other day.
Okay.
Did the administration and the council for the PUD bring everyone up to speed on public recording and all that kind of stuff? Everything good here?
There was a discussion on that.
Yeah, I bet you there was, man.
And that's why I'm not saying you can't do it in here.
Oh, what's kind of weird though? And I'll just reference my particularly good memory here. I made it clear when you conspired with the police officer on the 6th of September when...
Okay, are you going to be taking your camera inside?
Yeah.
That's kind of where we'll get into the issue if they want to trespass at that point. Well, it's up to them here. What do you want to do?
Knox, what do you want to do, man?
You can get a hold of the public information officer for Snohomish County PUD and set it up if you want to. But
all right.
At the time, please depart the property.
How long do you want him trespass from the property for?
Till first of the week it'll be fine. If he comes back and causes more of a hassle with filming and employees and whatnot, we'll take it from there.
Yeah, happy to lay out the argument for you. So when you conspired with the officer to violate my liberties by working in tandem with him to unlawfully have me trespass from a lawfully accessible area of the property on the 6th, what happened is there was also a point that was made by the law enforcement officer and affirmed by you while I was there.
Okay, are you going to be taking your camera inside?
Yeah.
That's kind of where we'll get into the issue if they want to trespass at that point.
So you're recording people Without their permission?
that there would be a problem if I came inside and recorded, and you in fact you said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
If it comes back and causes more of a hassle with filming and employees and whatnot, we'll take it from there.
Now, fortunately, cooler minds prevailed and more intellectually gifted minds prevailed by reaching out to general counsel and having them set the ship straight on the correct course, rather than I want to have all the money for the PUD loss through the biggest lawsuit in the universe. I mean, how many stories have you seen about this, Knox, with a member of the press getting messed with? How about watch anything you want? You could pick up any periodical, any magazine, any newspaper where a member of the press has been abused, like I was on the 6th. It never turns out well. It never turns out well.
With that one, but
well, short of something that's obviously bad, like, for example, if the journalist started attacking people, but I mean, people aren't covered by that kind of unlawful behavior, right? But when somebody's, utilizing their First Amendment, gosh, that's sort of constitutionally protected.
right.
Yeah, except for you and the officer were acting like a twin pair of maniacs. He was just a little glossed up in his slight improvement on polite nature.
Of it. So.
Oh, you are with Snohomish, you're with Allied. So are there any other security agencies that are contracted with the PUD that you guys see on the regular?
The only, so I am Allied. So
I am really confused right now. Then.
Okay, so I work at this site.
Yeah.
So, but I am with Allied. So I mean.
Yeah, I saw the hat, but then I saw that. So okay.
No, it's the same company, but working at this site, we wear this.
Oh, it's just a trade name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, ma'am. Sorry.
Oh no.
I'm just having a conversation.
Yield to cameras.
Oh, no problem.
Hey, I need to get into the conference room. I'm commissioner, and I left all my stuff.
Sure.
And I have my lunch, and it's just right here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You all okay?
Ma'am, did you say you're a commissioner?
Huh?
Did you say you're a commissioner?
Oh yeah. One of the three. This one.
Oh, very nice.
The short one.
That's very serendipitous.
And that gentleman over there is another commissioner.
Oh, great. Well, I wanted to see if I could quickly broach an issue with you. Who
do you represent?
I'm an independent investigative journalist.
Oh, okay.
I was here on the 6th of September. I was working on a story regarding public records requests. I'd received some tips.
Regarding what?
Public records requests. So I'd received some tips that people had come in to make public records requests, and they were having difficulty doing it, specifically a couple elderly people. So I came in to see if that was the case, and while I was walking in publicly available spaces on the PUD property getting B-roll footage, it's just like scene setting kind of footage, I was approached by Officer Knox and Ryan here, and Officer Knox worked with a local police officer to violate my liberties as a member of the press by trespassing me from publicly available spaces. So I was unable to complete my story that week. In fact, I had to wait a whole week to come back and seek redress of grievances here. So is that the typical posture of the commission?
No, I wasn't aware of that. And also, so you're a private investigator?
No, I'm an investigative journalist. I'm not a PI.
Oh.
Yeah.
And for what journal do you work?
I don't. I actually just get my information out. Yeah, I freelance, get my information out there with, wherever the story ends up going. So in this case, like I said, I was just working on a story, and while Ryan was extraordinarily professional, Knox was acting really inappropriate. Really making it clear he was seemed very aggravated and whatnot. Is this the posture of the district to abridge liberties?
No, sorry. I can't relate to that because I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't here to witness it. And I'm sorry.
Would commissioners be willing to sit down and have this conversation about this abridgment of liberty?
I cannot speak for the whole commission. We have to have all three of us together to make a decision about that.
Gotcha. Would the commission be willing to sit down as all three?
Commission.
Well, we have open commission meetings that are open to the public on the second
there's one today, a second, and
Sure.
the fourth Tuesday of every month. And in our afternoon session, starting at starting at 1:30, is the open session where people can either call in or come into our commission meeting and speak directly with the commissioners.
Is that like a typical public comment kind of
Yes.
situation? Okay, yeah. I mean, frankly, I'm looking to resolve this situation amicably. I'm not looking for this to escalate and turn into some sort of civil remedy. What I'd like to do is have more than a 3-minute me talking. Generally, a back and forth conversation is the best way to resolve a problem. So while I do appreciate the information about being able to go to an open public meeting and express concerns, what I'd really like to do is see if there's a possibility to just sit down and have a meaningful conversation rather than a monologue from me to you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, effectively, I've kind of given about 5 minutes of monologue right now.
I'm in my 6th year as a commissioner.
All right.
And one thing I've learned is we really have to go by the rules that are set by the state, which is the Open Public Meetings Act. And I cannot, as one commissioner, act on my own, or even only when all 3 of us are together in a public meeting.
Yeah, and I certainly understand and respect the differences there. I know when I read Title 54, Chapter 12 regarding commissioners, taking official acts is certainly something that's difficult, but having a conversation and then maybe having all 3 of you available to then
That would require an
discuss.
executive session.
Sure.
Which would include our lawyer and often the general manager. It wouldn't just be a private conversation.
Sure, and that's why I'm happy with having it on the record, but wouldn't it be better to do that than go down other civil routes? I mean, why go through all the frustration of the court system and whatnot, rather than just have a discussion? I mean, there's been plenty of stories where press have had their liberties abused, like I had mine by Knox and the Everett City Police Department, who, by the way, spoke with the implication that he had agency to act on behalf of the Public Utilities District. Probably not too good, Knox. And I think that puts the Public Utilities District in a heck of a position right there. Do you have any comment about that?
No, and I regret that I haven't had lunch, and I was heading to my lunch break. So if you wouldn't mind, I would like to be excused.
Oh, I mean, you can go anytime. You're an elected official, ma'am. I'm not holding you at bay here.
Okay.
I'll let you in. Oh, do you need something?
No, I was just talking to the commissioner.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to, I can coordinate if you have questions on like our public records request process. I know that you had expressed to our front line that you didn't want to have a phone call, so I'm happy to coordinate a meeting with you and those
PRO?
from our public records.
Sure.
I mean, we can get you their
Who
phone
are
number.
you?
I'm sorry?
Who are you?
My name's Shauna, and
Shauna.
I'm the senior manager in customer service.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Steve.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So I'm happy to get that, and I have Sarah's information here and a phone number, but I'm happy to.
You got an email address for me?
Yeah, I can get it. I can
Sure.
Get,
Head on over here with it. Thanks for coming on over to meet me.
Yeah, no, of course. Did you see the?
Well, I do have a customer service question for you too. I mean, is it frequent that you guys send armed security officers to accost members of the press when they're just getting B-roll footage?
No, and as a public
agency,
in open public areas. I mean, of course, there are certain areas that you need to get have a badge to get through. And those
I totally understand. I mean, if you saw me pole vaulting over your security wall there, we'd probably have a different conversation right now. But the problem is Knox last, well, I shouldn't say last week, on the 6th, he was implying this isn't a public agency. I'm on private property?
This is private property. This is owned by Snohomish County PUD. You ain't authorized to be here.
And the Everett City police officer was like, hey, if it's, it's private property, they can have people removed whenever they want.
If they want you trespassed off this property...
When I haven't committed a crime.
You have not committed a crime.
Now, obviously, you're clearly a well-educated individual. You understand the distinctions between private and
public.
public.
Will you go get me her email address? Yeah.
Why did that happen?
And I'm not sure, and I apologize for that, because we as a public utility have open areas that are public.
Yeah.
And everyone has the right to be here during open hours,
of
course, and during public hours. Oh!
Again, you've successfully stymied my midnight pole vaulting session, so well done.
Right. And then as far as like the recording and things like that, like everyone has the ability and the right to do so. It's just notifying when you're recording someone, either video or audio, that you're doing so prior to doing so, is my understanding.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't your attorney that told you that. So in 9.73.030, that's the Privacy Act for Washington State. It's a two-party consent state as long as there's no expectation of privacy. So like right now in public, there's no expectation of privacy. However, if you said, hey, Steve, let's go have your records conversation in my office, that's a non-public forum.
Okay.
So you could set the conditions for access, because you could just say, okay, I'm done having you in my office, please leave. So that barrier right there is what prohibits me from recording in there, whereas obviously I can record here because there's no expectation of privacy.
It's public.
So was it your attorney that had told you that?
No, that's just my understanding.
Oh, fair enough. Okay,
yeah.
I know why. So has there been any change to, and I'm going to go back and check it, but has there been any change to signage on the fences back there?
Back.
I think basically if you go to that corridor, hang a left, and then go out that way, kind of like to where your shipping, receiving, mechanic yard is. The day I came here, the gate was open. There was no signs restricting access. And like I was telling Officer Knox before he went full North Korea on me, I was just getting B-roll footage, which, you know, I'm sure you guys have seen documentaries. They're setting the scene with some sort of video and photo, right? That's what I was getting. And there's even signs that says pedestrians walk through there. So I'm really confused why Knox decided to go checkpoint Charlie and violate my liberties. I mean, is there anything you're aware of that would validate his behavior that day?
I am not, and I was not aware of that. And I come in every day, and I don't necessarily notice the signage on there or not. But I know that the parking lot obviously is part of the public area. And I know that the parking lot obviously is part of the public area.
I'm on private property?
This is private property. This is owned by Snohomish County PUD. You ain't authorized to be here.
That's not true. You're a liar!
100% agree. Is there any way, because I really enjoy the fact you're very amiable and amicable about trying to resolve this situation, is there any way I can show you where the location was? So that maybe from a customer service perspective, you might be able to bring some sort of a solution to this?
Yep.
Cool.
Happy to. And this is, I'll give you this. So this is
awesome.
Our public records officer, is her phone number and email address.
Great. Well, here, I'll tell you what, I'll go show you what's going on.
Sean, you are supposed to be downstairs. Do you want me to?
I'm happy. So this is John, and he's our...
They've been looking for her, so... I wanted to check in.
General
Hello.
manager.
Oh, sorry.
I'm John.
Nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, of
That's good. Whoever wants to go out, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy
All right.
to. Yeah.
You wanna go?
Do you
All
want
right.
to come? Are you good?
Thank you.
Hey, Knox, did you want to come out? I promise I don't have any hidden RPGs, okay? How you doing today, John?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I like running across reasonable, nice people.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know how much help I'll be able to be because I don't know exactly what's going on.
Well, I'm happy to explain to you. I mean, sorry. What do you do here?
I am the operations manager for Customer and Energy
Oh,
Services.
awesome. Okay, great. Well, I was when I was talking to Knox, I was asking for effectively some sort of operations manager. Looks like I got what I wanted. So basically, I came here on the 6th of September working on a story about public records requests.
Okay.
I'd received some tips and leads that there were issues with a few people that had come in to do it, and they said that they were met with brusque, rude behavior, as well as
filing records requests?
Yeah, and that they weren't very helpful. And in the case of being helpful, it was a couple of elderly folk. You know, and a lot of those people don't like getting online with like public records requests and whatnot, so they like to come in person and do it that way.
Makes sense.
And so I came in just to see what the records request process was like myself and document that. But before I went in, I was just getting B-roll footage of the grounds. I came over that bridge right over there, that blue one right over there.
Yeah, the pedestrian walkway?
Yeah, came over there, crossed that, and came on the property, and like I said, just getting B-roll footage, which again, as you heard me say, it's just sort of that scene setting, you know, hey, I'm at the Snohomish County Public Utilities District, this is what it looks like, kind of a thing. So as I was walking around, I initially was just over there. You see where that security camera is?
Yes.
So I was over there just getting some like shot footage, not past that yellow line, because that yellow line was clearly marked and it had a sign that said don't go past the yellow line, fair enough. Some people approached me and
some
said,
of our yard equipment is in there. Yes.
yeah, so some people approached me and said, hey, you can't be here recording, you have to have permission, blah, blah, blah. I know that's not true as a journalist. So they went and got Knox and Ryan. Knox acted like an absolute maniac. Ryan was completely professional. Knox came out, he was very agitated, borderline angry. I wouldn't say he had gotten to angry yet. Called the cops, and when the Everett City police officer showed up, said they could trespass me because this is private property. Now that's ridiculous. We all know it's not. Title 54 of the Revised Codes of Washington make it clear it's public property. That's why there's elected commissioners and all that kind of stuff. So when I came back here, I looked just to make sure there was nothing, and the only thing it says is PUD parking only. Unfortunately, I'm not cosplaying as a car today. So when I came back here, the only other...
So it was this area that they said they were going to trespass you out of?
No, they trespassed me from the entire PUD for a week. So that expired last Friday, which is why I'm back today.
And it was...
Knox.
No, but it was by the camera over in the public parking area.
Yeah, well, what had happened is just around that corner, I ran across a couple of Public Utilities District's employees. They approached me and said, hey, you can't be here doing this. You can't record. I'm going inside to tell. That's when I was over here. By the time security came over, I was already over here getting photo and video. Knox approached me and Ryan approached me through here. They confronted me over there and said, you got to go. You can't be here. It's private property. And I said, it's not true. They said, we're going to call the police. Police show up. They trespassed me for 7 days. So I wasn't able to complete my press obligations for my job for a week because I was illegally trespassed. And as you can see, there's no signage that says no unauthorized personnel, no trespassing.
No, you're right. We only have the, well, at least on that entrance. I haven't checked the other entrances, but we only have the PUD parking.
Yeah, and then as you can see, there's a sign right there that says pedestrian traffic, slow down 5 miles an hour. I mean, it's obvious that this area has pedestrian traffic. And it says traffic, so it's not just employees. I mean, they're acknowledging there is actually a flow of pedestrian traffic here. And that's covered in Title 46, Chapter 62, 250, where it discusses how pedestrians walk about and mobilize themselves in publicly accessible areas. And you guys have gone to the effort to mark that. So I'm really confused why out here in this parking lot I was trespassed.
Let's go check the front.
You bet.
Now I'm curious about what signage we have in the front too, if it's just listing the PUD parking.
Sure.
And as the challenge is, this is where our receiving dock, so there's equipment and stuff out on the dock. But to your point, if that is a secure area, we need to identify it.
Yeah, and by the way, I really appreciate your time coming out, walking with me, and just, you know, because what I'd like to do is resolve this issue amicably. I don't want to go down the road of other civil remedies, but I mean, it was just so egregious what happened, and frankly, it was Knox. Knox acted, he stated with an implicit understanding that he was acting with agency on behalf of the Public Utilities District.
Well, since I represent PUD as
Allied
security
Universal
officer,
represents them?
please leave the property.
And that's alarming to me because usually private security companies don't act with agency. Yeah, see? Nothing. It says Snohomish County Public Utility District. I mean, what about this is private? So it says no trespassing, but remember, no trespassing is based on time, place, manner restrictions. So if people can come in here and enter during the day, just like the inside, even if you had a no trespassing sign on the inside of or at the front of the door, it's meeting after open hours.
Well, and also, the intent of that is to imply that you could not come in. It's only on this one entrance that I can see. So no, you bring up a very, very good point. And, you know, I want to call out, working for a public utility, this is part of our obligation to make sure that we can be as open and accessible as possible.
Sure.
So,
yeah. No, I agree.
If there is an area that, like the receiving dock, where we're worried about it from a theft perspective or things like that, then we need to clearly call that out.
Yeah. So, you know, that one right there says just, hey, you're being recorded. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I mean, your guys' First Amendment just as much as it is everyone else's. No sweat there. And I think you can see I'm a very polite,
Yes.
reasonable guy. I don't act untoward towards people. Unless they give me a reason to. And even on that day with Knox, while I must admit I was extremely angry, I didn't yell, swear. I got a little sarcastic with him, but, you know, hey, color me a felon for that, if you will. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, I was just trying to get B-roll footage before I went in.
Let's get you out of the
Sure.
the path of cars here.
And my initial story is going to come out later this week from what occurred here on the 6th. So, I mean, you guys will be able to see if what I'm accusing Knox of meets what is available.
How would I see your story? Where is it?
I'll send you a link to it.
Sorry, I didn't bring a card out with me.
That's all right, I'll go back in with you. That's all right. But yeah, I mean, that's why I was talking to the commissioner too, is, you know, it's an elected official just trying to broach the subject because, you know, I think a lot of other people would probably take that unlawful trespass and just immediately go file a lawsuit. I'm not looking to do that. I'm just looking to say, can we solve this? And especially, wow, please address the concerns that you will see in video regarding Knox when you see it. That is not good. That guy seemed like he was just itching to go hands-on, whereas Ryan was the absolute picture of professionalism.
Well, that is great.
He was polite, nice, de-escalatory, even though I wasn't escalating. I mean, he's just a really good security officer. And I think he deserves credit for that. You can't just complain and not acknowledge the good stuff, right?
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Otherwise, you just sound like an angry man.
I mean, people can. People do.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you did not do that.
Well, as a journalist, I like to report just everything. So, I mean, I'm not going to just do things that are maybe advantageous to my complaint or whatnot in the moment. So, thank you very much.
My pleasure. And let me get... Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see if I can snag... Do you by chance have a pen and a post-it note I can borrow? I didn't bring my cards down. Thank you very much.
Is that Knox's manager?
No.
Okay.
Knox's manager is not. Is okay.
Is Carrie available?
She's not here right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she left her.
Well, if I could just take what I provided you in terms of a complaint now, and then please watch the video, because like I said, you're going to see Ryan was picture perfect security officer. I mean, super polite. And I want to add, as I've already mentioned to him multiple times now, literally took his oath to the United States Constitution as a former soldier to heart, and knew that where I was at, admitted it on camera, was publicly available, that it was lawful for me to be there using my speech and press liberties. Knew this because he's clearly a good soldier, and took that from him and used it in the civilian sector. So I think that's awesome. That's why hiring soldiers is a good thing. So appreciate it, Ryan.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Thank you, and I look forward to getting a link to the article.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good day. Take care.
You.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, you take care. All right. Well, that's it here reporting today at the Snohomish County Public Utilities District. Got that resolved to a degree. I've still got to go over to the Everett Police Department and issue a complaint against the officer that showed up that day, but the brass tacks of it is that the PUD violated liberties that day. I think the operations manager was taking that seriously here at the Snohomish County Public Utilities District, and that's a good step forward to resolve this issue. All right, here we are at the City of Everett Police Department. I'm gonna go inside and see if we can resolve this issue. Hey, looking to see if I can speak to corporal or sergeant, lieutenant, any sort of a manager that's available.
Of what type of case?
It's not a case.
Okay, just any person in charge?
Yeah, it'd have to be a supervisor for regular officer based on some conduct I saw of a police officer out in public.
Okay, let me see who I can get you, okay?
Thanks, appreciate it.
Hello? Were you the one looking to speak to a sergeant?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to go here just so it's not so echoey?
Hey, absolutely. It's actually way nicer out today, so.
Fair enough. Just so you're not even recorded, it looks like I am too, just so you know that.
That's the way.
Yeah, I've been desperately waiting for the 50s and 60s again. Right.
How can I help you today?
Well, I'm a journalist. I was over at the Snohomish County Public Utility District building just, about 5, 6, 7 blocks that way.
Okay.
On September 6th, I was working on a story about public records requests.
Okay.
Apparently some elderly people having difficulties. So
okay.
While I was in the midst of getting B-roll footage, which is what I always do before I actually go do the story,
okay,
I was approached by security who said I was on private property and had to leave.
Okay.
So I told him he was in error. If he wanted me to leave, he's going to have to call the police because I'm lawfully present in the places that I was at.
Okay.
So he called the police, and I cannot remember the name of the officer now. It was a unstriped officer, just a regular street police officer, I'll call it. And he showed up. While polite and nice, like in his demeanor, he ended up unlawfully trespassing me from there. Now, I just went back to seek redress of grievances now that the 1-week trespass order has expired.
Okay.
And sought redress of grievances, and the operations manager, the public service manager, everyone, a commissioner even said, this is public property as we know. You can go to Title 54 of the Revised Codes of Washington. It's public property.
Okay.
They admitted where I was at was public property. The operations manager himself admitted it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to figure out is why did the officer that was there imply that I was as well on private property, and for any reason whatsoever, a public agency can trespass me for no reason or any reason whatsoever, when even the utilities district, now that they become aware of their security officers' unlawful behavior, are as well agreeing because they've spoken with their general counsel and come to the conclusion it was unlawful. I'm just trying to figure out why this happened to me, because I was prevented from finishing my story by a week.
Okay. So you're trying to figure out why the officer trespassed you?
Unlawfully trespassed.
Well, okay. So he trespassed you at the request of the security officer, right?
Yeah, who, oddly enough, it stated on camera that the private security officer had agency to speak on behalf of and take actions on behalf of a utility district, a public agency. I mean, this should have set off alarm bells to the police officer immediately, like, no, that's not how that works in any universe.
And it may just have been the officer's ignorance, if you will, that where he was where you were was public property, right? It's like
Absolutely.
it's like this building, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously areas of this building you're not allowed to go
Completely
to.
agree.
However, the lobby area and stuff like that is public property.
And I was outside, to be clear, where I was trespassed from was, you know that blue pedestrian bridge that, I can't remember the name of the street, but there's a street that's a bridge. You go over it, there's a blue pedestrian bridge. It crosses over to the public utilities district.
Not one. So I'm usually a south car.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm acting supervisor up here. I'm not 100% familiar with it.
I can't remember which street it is. I know I'm not super familiar with Everett yet, but
fair enough.
I know California Street's kind of a big street.
Yeah.
If you come back one street south of that, and there's a bridge that crosses over.
Okay.
As you cross that bridge, there's a pedestrian bridge. It's kind of a turquoise color that crosses over.
Okay.
So I took that. That's how I entered the property.
Right.
You know, and I make sure when I'm working on stories, I'm not looking to break laws. I was looking, no trespass signs, no unauthorized personnel signs, etc. Right?
Yeah.
None of that's present. Yet both the police officer and the security officer were like, "Yeah, we can get rid of you for any reason whatsoever."
Yeah.
And
the security guy, from my experience in dealing with some security, the private security companies,
it is private. Yeah.
A lot of times they feel that their authority, if you will, is farther reaching than it actually is.
Fair enough.
And in some aspects, if they are contracted or hired by a private company, apartment complex, if you will, right?
Sure.
They do have the authority. That is written in their contract that they speak on behalf of management and stuff like that.
Sure.
That way, if it's 1 o'clock in the morning and we get called out there, we don't have to bother a manager at 1
Sure,
o'clock.
that makes sense.
It's kind of the generalized version of that.
Sure.
However, but when you're talking about, like you said, the utilities building and stuff like that, there's obviously areas where the public is allowed,
Sure.
which I would assume would be like the main vestibule areas and lobbies and stuff like that. of
And
that
outside.
area. Yeah, outside, exactly. Can I get your name? I can look up the call and talk to the officer that responded and correct that error.
And I appreciate that, Corporal. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. So my last name is long.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so first name's Steve, and my last name is Wolfesch Liegelstein Hausenbergerdorf.
Okay, so I'm going to have to write. I thought you were saying your last name was long. I was like, oh, that's easy to remember.
Oh, no.
It's not the word long.
No, it's literally long, yeah.
Well, what day was that?
September 6th.
September 6th?
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably the only call that you guys had there. So, I mean, it's like 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, something like that.
On September 6th.
Yeah.
9/6/24. Steve, is that with a V or a PH?
V.
Okay.
And also, one other thing, it's just more of a minor offense kind of a thing in terms of I was mildly offended. I wish he would have just taken me at, yes, that's my name, because he's like, well, I need to get your ID. And I said, have I committed a crime? He's like, no, it's a warning. And I said, well, I'll give you my name, but I'm not going to show ID. And when he gave me, he goes, that doesn't seem like it'd be your name. Like, well, sometimes people have incredibly long names. That happens.
All right. So I will talk to him about that as well.
I appreciate it.
You can't remember the officer's name? It's okay if you can't. I should be able to look it up.
Say he's probably about 5'8", 5'9", kind of had a sort of a beard going on, glasses, looked really slick.
Okay. Real slick.
Hopefully that'll help. Slick.
That's very descriptive. I appreciate that. All right, Steve, I'll figure out who that was, and I'll talk to him, and if it's not me, I'll at least get a hold of their supervisor, because I don't think my crew was working on the 6 or my platoon, so it might have been the other platoon. If it was, I'll at least get a hold of their immediate supervisor and just like, hey, inform them, instruct them, like, educate them that that's public property. There are definitely areas allowed, the public's allowed to be there. And then also like, hey, maybe we don't make comments about people's names.
Sure.
I have a story about that from my days past, but
really for Veach.
No, it wasn't me. I used to work in the jail, and there was a gentleman that would get booked quite frequently.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Right.
Just had a drinking problem.
Okay.
But his last name was Weaselhead.
Okay.
He was tribal, Native American, and we were had him standing in line, and we were doing what's called change out. So we're giving him fresh linens and stuff like that.
Oh, sure, okay.
And they were getting fresh. And one of the other inmates had made a comment about his name, and I lost it. I was like, what does your last name mean? Because I guarantee he knows the heritage of his and where it come from. And all. So I get where you're coming from on that. There's pride in it, especially in a name, but I feel like that's some generational stuff. I think that's lost on some generations, is the pride.
Yeah, it happens. It might have just also been, and I don't want to say this like it's fact, because I can't read minds,
right.
But as a journalist, I try to make myself as well informed about the law as possible, so I can push hard as a journalist without breaking the law.
Yeah, you get up to the line, but don't cross it.
Yeah, exactly. And
absolutely.
so I don't know if maybe it was just like who does this guy think he is? Is he some lawyer? Which I'm not, but I don't know if it was that or something else. But I'm just trying to report on stories that are valid, especially elderly people trying to get records requests that should be happening.
I hear you.
So,
and it could also have just been a really poor attempt at humor too.
Fair enough.
Some people have a tougher time selling that than others.
All right, you
Steve,
got a business card?
I don't have one on me. I will write my info down though for you.
Thanks.
This will be the official, unofficial business card.
Hey, it works.
Right?
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Sorry, it took me a minute to get up here. We're kind of putting out little fires all over the city, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Do you want the incident number for? I generated a call just for an assist public. Do you want the incident number for that?
Nah, I'm good on that one.
I'll put my work cell on here if you need it for anything.
Hey, thanks, man.
I don't know that you'll ever need it, but I just always do. So, Officer Adam Veach, my badge number is 1466, and that's my work number.
All right.
So here's my official, unofficial business card.
Fantastic. Thanks.
All right, Steve. Thank you for your time, sir. Absolutely.
Take care.
You going my way?
All right, well, that's it here at the Everett Police Department. Wow, that was great. Corporal Veach is really nice, professional. Says he's going to take care of it. I'm hoping he does. I mean, I have no way to verify. There are certain exemptions in Washington State for public records requests. You can get jackets for officers, but there are some things that can actually be exempted from those. So I don't know 100% if I can get that information or not, but I'll certainly find out, and you know, if I can get it, I'll get it. But hopefully this issue will be addressed. I think the corporal was spot on. He understands, obviously, like you said, in vestibules and other areas you can certainly record and whatnot. And I think he's going to take it up with that officer. Like the fact that he understood not to mock names or whatnot. That's good. It's just not the function of public service. So that's a good thing here in the city of Everett. So I'm going to say this is handled as of right now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that all notifications bells to get my stories right when they release. You can follow me on X at I.A.M. Free Auditing on Facebook at Inland Auditing Media. If I help keep my feet on the streets, you can do so by the links in the description for Cash App and Venmo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next location. Bye for now.